Hey folks, well, the big bad Bruins sort of lived up to their name, didn't they? The back end a little bit caved in versus Boston, but a big win for the Leafs. You know what we're going to do? We're going to break it all right down for you, right here on the OZone.
You're in the offensive zone, your place for Leafs hockey.
Hey folks, welcome to the OZone. That's Coach, that's Katie, and I'm the Diva, and we're here to talk all things Leafs. Look, just a reminder, folks, we have some special things coming in the next few weeks. I know you're all on this, but there's a big old contest to win Leafs tickets for the game on the 12th of April versus Buffalo. Go look in the archives, find a video. You're going to find it probably right up here also. Click on that thing, put in the comments who your favorite Leaf is, what you would ask them if you ever met them, and we'll draw your name for free tickets. It's coming up. Also, you don't want to miss Tiger Woods' story from Coach. It's going to break the internet. Okay. Well, geez, look, it's the day after a big game versus those big Brad Bruins. What did you guys see in that game? KD, let's take us through it. Go ahead.
Well, as a Leaf fan, getting excited to hopefully get through the first playoff round. I mean, the game should have been obviously nice to win and pleasing to see the W at the end. But I think what's most important is you saw a real advantage in speed all across the ice, all through the lines. We saw, the Leaf D, Riley sneaking in there and scoring. We just saw a really, really good job and really limited the chances for, better part of 50 minutes and then exploding mistakes. I mean, they jumped on mistakes all over the place. So, I think it's kind of exciting. And Boston tried to push Leafs around at the end. It didn't really faze them. Obviously there's some weird goals going in and a few things, but this was a really encouraging game from a playoff standpoint. I think people can start to get excited. Since the end of the trade deadline, this team has looked like a playoff ready team, or at least getting ready for the playoffs. So all systems go.
Yeah, I mean, we're obviously getting close to the playoffs, angst-ridden, long-suffering Leaf fans, and it was a big game against the Bruins. But so what stood out for you, Coach?
I thought Keefe said it best in his post-game. They asked him what he thought of the game. He said it was complete. It was a complete game. It was an ass-kicking. Couple of late ones that really kind of didn't matter other than maybe get the angst meter up a bit. But what a terrific game. 6-1 we were up on those guys.
Yeah.
So
and it could have been 7-1 with that funny extra pass there.
They've been hot. They've been very hot lately, and we've cooled. Leafs went in there, cooled them right off. So that was terrific. Look, hated to see the injuries, right? I mean, my goodness, Justin Hall, that could have been really bad. It was just bad. But wears one in the head from 20 feet, and then Lyubushkin.
But you know what? I just want to jump in there too, because look what he was doing. He was tied up with his man in front of the net, clearing him out. Kind of got tied up with the stick, fell awkwardly before getting hit by the puck. But this is a guy who's wrapping his man up and clearing it out for the goalie so he could see the puck. The Leafs didn't have a lot of that in February and January, so we need that guy back. Sorry, go ahead.
And then Lyubushkin, he's out. I hope those things are tricky, right? It didn't seem like that bad a punch. I'm not going to get into whether it's a suspension or not, but got to hope at least one of those guys is okay. But look, injuries happen, right? It's next man up. Shelgren came in and played great. That's a really good sign. And then we were down to 4D. And the 4D were tremendous. You said they were caved in to start. It was the exact opposite of that. They were tremendous. They didn't give up a scoring chance for the first 15 minutes of the third period. It was a great low-event period, exactly what the doctor ordered. Keefe said afterwards he had two forwards teed up to go play some D if they were getting hemmed in their end. You wouldn't say which, so that's good. But, look at this. Here's a stat about Timothy Liljegren, right? Unbelievable goals for expected with Giordano. Giordano was close behind. By the way, we've been harping on the second line and the fourth line. Here's a stat. This is Corsi, which is shots attempts for and against. Okay, the better, the higher the number, the better for you guys that aren't the geeks. The 4 is the fourth line. There's Spezza, Clifford, and Blackwell. The 2 is the second line. Tavares, Kerfoot, and McCabe. They're all right there. And then there's the 2, Giordano and Liljegren. Tremendous game again. So, look, these are great stats. And, to play undermanned and handle it like that was great. The other thing is, Peter Mrazek pulled his groin for the third time. Who does he think he is? Pee Wee Herman pulling his groin that many times? So he's got to be gone, right? How do you bring that guy back and put him even as a backup in the playoff series? You can't put him in the net. He could pop again. So that's a real problem. But good for our Swede to come in and bail us out.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think this kind of paves the way for some up and down in the lineup that's got to happen over the next 16 games. He's got a fairly hefty salary, so if you LTIR that guy, you can kind of do whatever you want in terms of room. We're probably going to get into that in a different section. Lots of observations. Losing Mrazek hurts because he was looking good the last few games. I kind of just feel bad for him, but Coach is right. Next man up, and the next man up was pretty good. He let in some goals, but look, it was a tough situation that he came into. Losing Hall and Lyubushkin to me is devastating. I really hope those guys aren't out too long. When I said caved in, it's just look at the RDs right now. I mean, we don't really have any. We got one guy that shoots right now, so they're obviously going to dig into the Marlies a little bit. You've heard me say it, guys, all day. I kind of thought it was a pretty obvious suspension. You could say that it wasn't that bad, but I don't know. Hall hit a guy from behind, and it was retaliation. It was not a hockey play. He sucker punched him, and the guy left the game. Who knows how much time he's going to miss? And Hall's been suspended before, so that was my problem. Also, big shout out to Harvard, who was in the house last night, 15-11. Pretty good game for those guys. 11 got tossed around a little bit when the game started to get a little bit hairy, but he didn't look out of place out there at all, and it's nice to see him getting a goal in Boston. I know he had some friends and family at the game, so that's
I believe
sweet.
He asked Swayman if he liked them apples after he scored that first goal. I got a number. How about them apples?
That might be a DKI too. He went right to the net with a stick on the ice, and
where's the DKI? There's the DKI.
We'll break it out as we go.
Maybe a little one for him.
Yeah.
You know what? Let's look at the lineup here, guys. You have Campbell and Mrazek out still. Campbell looks like he's getting pretty close. You have Sandin, Muzzin, Lyubushkin, and Hall out. How do you address this? I mean, I know after a win against a contested win against a couple of teams in the East there with Florida and Boston, we're all feeling pretty good about ourselves, but we do have a depleted lineup, and the last thing we need is to start piling injuries on top of injuries and having guys play a little bit more than they should be. So how do you address this, Coach?
I think the guy maybe most important is the guy you didn't mention, which is Kasha. He's been out for a while. Remember, they were just being cautious with him. He's been out a little while now, and he's a guy who hasn't played a whole bunch of hockey over the last years, right? Yeah. I think he's got to get back and get going before the playoffs. So that's another guy to mention. Look, I would not rush Muzzin or Sandin under any circumstances. Muzzin has to come back and has to be 100%. We need that guy. Yeah. But short term, Campbell's practicing. He may even – Nick Kyprios today said he thinks Campbell's going to play tomorrow night against Winnipeg. I think he's back pretty soon. Otherwise, you got Hutch as a backup, I think. But let's hope that Hall or Lyubushkin, one of those guys doesn't miss a lot of time. Well, hopefully both don't. But if we get one back, we're okay because we got Dahlstrom, who's going to fill in. He's with the roster already. On the farm, you got a couple guys that shoot right. But they're both offensive-minded guys, and they're both small, Hollowell and Dusak. So it gets a little thin. You know, we were not sad to see Dermott go. Wouldn't mind seeing him right now. But that's okay. Play a little depth. Let's see what we got. As long as we get those guys back and get some games before the playoffs, we'll be okay.
Yeah, okay. KD?
Yeah, absolutely. Like Muzzin's had 2 concussions in a very short period. If he gets a third one, not only will it be, is he going to come back this year, it's whether he should come back ever. So I'd rather have him miss another 10 games than have him come back early. So that, I guess that means we want to see, we want to make sure that we see Lyubushkin in there. If you watch the hit on Lyubushkin, if you've ever been hit that way, I don't think it's a concussion. He got hit this way, which means he probably popped his jaw out, a little dislocation, which hurts. It gets you out of a game, and maybe you don't want to go back in. But I doubt it rung his bell. Just was the wrong angle. So I'm hoping that he's ready to go. But you know, like I do not want to see. I really don't want to see Muzzin skate for another week or two, like for the team. Like
yeah, Kev, if he comes back too early and gets another, he's going to be walking around town like John Olerud in his helmet. Can't have that.
He's done. He's done. Yeah. And you know what? If you're a family member at that point, you'd have to ask. You know, Stanley Cup winner, lots of seasons in the NHL, loved by teammates. Like maybe there's nothing else you got to prove. So you know, let's hope he gets lots of runway, gets to play a few games at the end of the year, and have him come back ready for playoffs.
Yeah, great point. And hey, if Lyubushkin's jaw's broken, that's another exhibit A for my pledge for Hall to be suspended. Anyways, fellas, we're gonna do what we always do here. We're gonna get into some predictions here. We're gonna lay it all on the line for our wonderful subscribers. Okay, next up, the Jets coming to Scotia Arena. KD, what's going to happen?
Well, when the Leafs are playing teams I think they should beat, and they start opening things up and playing sloppy, they lose. This is a Jet team that just got hit by COVID, so Nate Schmidt, arguably their best D or one of them, and Kyle Connor are out. So you play playoff hockey, you smother them, you beat them end to end. They should roll this team. So I'm calling a coach call 4-1 here. I think the special teams goes nuts, and I think we get number 50 for number 34. So there we go.
All right, exciting, Coach.
Yeah, so I'm with you, Kev, about us playing a different and great brand of hockey since the trade deadline. Even the one game we lost, we poured 50 on Montreal. So I think that continues. I think it's a 5-2 win. I think Winnipeg's looking for a reason to roll over. They got lots of excuses. I'm going to say our special teams dominance continues. We're going to get 2 on the special teams. Not quite saying 2 power play goals because the shorties have been coming today. 5-2 win. I'm also predicting this guy here will have a good time with his 21st birthday present. Here he is. We won the state championship. This is the best defenseman I ever coached. It's my son, Peter. So have a good time, buddy. Those tickets weren't cheap.
That's great. Congratulations, Pete. Listen, I'm kind of with you. The Jets sometimes have the Leafs number, and they bash them around a little bit, and then they kill them off the rush. And you know who kills them off the rush? Connor, almost every game. So with him being out, I think that kind of slows them down a little bit, takes a little bit of edge off their attack and their counterattack. So yeah, I'll call a win, but I don't think it's going to be easy. I think everyone's looking over their shoulder right now. A lot of injuries. People are playing a little bit too much. Leafs get up early, but they probably give up a bit of a lead. I'm calling a 5-4 win, 65-47 pot one. Okay, there you have it, folks. Hit subscribe. Don't miss a thing. And remember, if you want Leafs tickets, go to that video. It'll come along here again in a moment. Leave your comments. I hope you win. We'll see you soon right here on the OZone.